Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Friday night. Fascinating matchup. Louisville going on the road playing Miami. And if you're a Miami fan and you've been rocking with the boys for the last couple of years, number one, appreciate you guys. The amount of support that fan base shows the boys has been amazing for a very long time. Number two, you know exactly what I'm going to say. Anytime you play this Louisville team led by Coach Brom, you better be ready to play your best football, especially with Louisville coming off a bye, coming off a frustrating loss against Virginia, a game that they probably should have won. Coach Brom, to me, one of the best game planners, one of the best play scripters that you see in the entire sport. And he's coming on the road to one of the best, if not the best team that we see in the country. You know he's got some bullets in the chamber, and you better be ready to play some really clean football, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now, what makes me feel better if I'm a Miami fan about this matchup in 2025 as opposed to the matchup in 2024? Because remember, we talked about this game 365 days ago, and we said, hey, Miami getting a bye before they have to go on the road and play Louisville last year. We thought that would help. Turns out that defensive coaching staff was a joke, and they go up there to Louisville and just look lost on defense. Would have lost that football game if it wasn't for Cam Ward hanging 50 points. This defensive coaching staff has shown me, at least in the first half of the season, I mean, I'm almost ready to use the word elite. You know what Corey Heatherman has done with this defense? Look, is it a surprise that Miami's defense is good? Not necessarily. And when you have guys like Ruben Bay and Akeem Mesidor, OJ Frederic, you're going to trot out a pretty damn solid defense. Why this defense has been elite, and I'll use that word because that's how good this defense has been, is because of Corey Heatherman. I mean, number one, a really disciplined defense that does not blow many coverages, that does not miss many tackles, but the energy that he has injected into this defense, man, it feels different. And that's why, if you're a Miami fan, you feel better going into this matchup. But I know many Miami fans who follow this sport closely know we got a lot of respect for Louisville coming to town. And you better be ready to play your best football coming off a bye because Coach Brom's coming off a bye too. Fired up to get into this one. Before we do, and as always, hey, Louisville fans, Miami fans, appreciate you guys. The amount of support y'all have shown the boys for these preview and prediction episodes has been amazing. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. Let it fly in the comment section. Without further ado, let's get into it now. Here's my general take on Louisville is they should be an undefeated team that's in the top 25, right? And they played Virginia before their bye week. They outgained them by over 150 yards, made some really, really bad mistakes, and lost that game. There's a very realistic world where Louisville is undefeated, a top 25 team going on the road here, 5-0. My take on Louisville is it's a really, really solid team that does not have any flaws. You know, they can score points on the offensive side of the football. They're solid at all three levels on defense. You start looking at the numbers, hey, they can stop the run, get after the passer. They're solid in coverage. There are not a lot of glaring weaknesses about this Louisville team. The one weakness or one matchup that I think is going to be really critical in this game, this Miami pass rush against the Louisville offensive line that has struggled to run the football and has struggled at times in pass protection. And the reason that this matchup would concern me if I'm a Louisville fan is that Miller Moss is not a guy that's going to get himself out of trouble. You know, you look at the past quarterbacks that Miami's played, specifically, you know, Tommy Castellanos in Tallahassee a week and a half ago. Miami was whipping tail up front. I mean, that Florida State offensive line could not block Miami up, but they're also chasing a guy in Tommy Castellanos who is elite when it comes to getting himself out of trouble. Well, Miller Moss is not that guy. I think Miller Moss is a very solid quarterback that gets the ball out quick, that can make some high-level throws, but he's not a guy that when he sees pressure in his face, he ain't running away from Akeem Mesidor. He ain't running away from Ruben Bain. And the fact that Louisville has struggled to run the football and has to drop back and throw the ball, I think, a little bit more than Coach Brom would like on the road here against Ruben Bain, against Akeem Mesidor, against Ahmad Moten, I think that could be a problem. That is the biggest concern I would have if I'm a Louisville fan going on the road. Here's the other thing though, when you're talking this Louisville offense, you have to try to take away these top two pass catchers. Here's a kind of crazy stat here. Bell number 0, Colin Lacey number 5, combined for over 85 targets on the year. There is not a single Louisville pass catcher on this roster that has over 20 targets outside of those two. You know who the third guy is actually? Familiar name for the Miami fans, Jaleel Skinner, who's actually doing some damn good things up there at Louisville. Can you take away Chris Bell? Can you take away Colin Lacey? That's kind of the forefront when it comes to trying to deal with this Louisville passing attack, and they're going to move them both around. They're going to try to scheme up plays and scheme up creative ways to get the football into their hands. Those are the two guys that you have circled in red Sharpie. The last thing that I will say here, two other things. Number one, Louisville has really talented running backs that can hit the home run play every single time they have the football in their hands, and Miami fans know that. Most notably Isaac Brown. Got to make sure you tackle in space. Got to make sure you take good angles. And I've loved what I've seen from Zachariah Poyser. I loved what I've seen from Jacoby Thomas up until this point. Hey, when you're coming down and fitting that run, you got to make sure you take good angles, because if you don't, these Louisville backs going to run right by you, and they ain't going to just go for 25 yards. Like they going to take it 75 yards, and they going to take it to the house. Take good angles. Lastly, just be disciplined. Coach Brom is going to give some misdirection. He is going to dial up some really well-designed plays, because that's what Coach Brom does as a coach. You got to make sure your eye discipline is going to be okay. And this is an aggressive defense that wants to get after the passer, right? I think Coach Brom is going to try to use some of that aggression against this Miami defense. Take good angles, try to take away these top two pass catchers. You have discipline, you get after the passer and create some negative plays. That's the avenue for Miami dealing with this Louisville offense. Now you flip the sides, and this is where I got to give a ton of respect. I did not think this Louisville defense was going to be amazing in 2025. They've been pretty dang solid, only giving up 22 points per game. That's 40th in the country. 4.5 yards per play. That's 21st in the country. They've played some pretty dang good offenses like Virginia, like Pitt. They've done pretty dang good job. They're stingy against the run. They're stingy in the pass. They have the ability to get after the passer. Hey, Clev Lubin. I got his number 50, Clev Lubin. He can rip. One of the better pass rushers in the ACC. Here's the question, and here's what I really do like about Miami. And another thing that makes Miami feel a little bit different in 2025 versus 2024. You can kind of pick the matchup that you really want to. You can pick how you want this game to be played. You want to play some bully ball. You want to try to move this Louisville front around and establish the run. We all know they have the ability to do that with an elite offensive line, a couple of really good backs that know how to run the rock hard. If you want to go throw the football around the yard, Carson Beck has shown what he is, but these wide receivers are difference makers. These wide receivers are way better than we thought they were going to be back in August. If you're Shannon Dawson and Mario Cristobal, you're saying, hey, this is a solid Louisville defense that doesn't really have these obvious glaring problems. We got to figure out what our favorite matchup is in this football game. This is what I would expect. I think Louisville's defense is solid. They have not seen a good offensive line yet. They haven't even seen an average line. I don't think Virginia's offensive line is all that great. Certainly don't think Pitt's offensive line is all that great. We have not seen Louisville's front have to go up against anything close to an elite offensive line, which is how I would describe Miami. Louisville likes to leave their two safeties high. They're going to give you some stuff underneath, but they ain't going to give you a ton of explosive plays. Can Miami just sit on this one and say, hey, we going to run the football 45 times in this football game and make Louisville hold up? I think that might be the avenue. At least if I'm Shannon Dawson, I'm going to make Louisville show that they can stop the run. And if they're going to leave those two safeties high, of which they seemingly like to do, we're going to run the football. And we're going to have success running the football. We're going to make Louisville maybe put a safety into the box, which is something they're not comfortable with. And then maybe we start taking some shots down the field. One of the things I'll say that I did not expect from Malachi Toney, and it's not like I thought Malachi Toney was going to be bad. Many of y'all know that. I didn't think he had the verticality that he showed against Florida State. That ability to run by defensive backs, track the football down the field, take the top off the defense. Showed he could do that against Florida State. And if Louisville wants to start creeping up when you start running the football, maybe that's the avenue that Malachi Tone or Shannon Dawson decides to go. And I'm also excited to see, hey, I want to see this Miami offensive line continue to hold up in pass protection against, I mean, shoot, how many edge rushers has Miami seen that are better than Clev Lubin? Maybe a couple cats on Florida. I don't think Florida State had anyone better than Clev. I don't think Notre Dame had anybody better than Clev. So I want to see this Miami offensive line continue to hold up against some quality pass rushers. And you want to see the killer instinct when they have the chance. You know, if Miami's up 21-7 in the third quarter here, don't let Louisville claw their way back into this, because this is something Louisville can do. Louisville is creating negative plays, 2.3 turnovers per game forced. That's top 5 in the country. Don't let Louisville claw their way back into this one. If you have the ability to put this game away, I want to see Miami do that, because we haven't seen Miami do that the last couple of weeks. Getting into the pick here, look, I think Miami is going to win this game, because I think they're just, man, they're too complete of a football team to, in my opinion, to drop these games. Because, you know, you look at the past Miami teams, there was always certain flaws. There was always something that was holding Miami back. This year, it's hard to see them dropping these kind of games because of the different ways they can win games. I don't know if I love the 13.5 points. And y'all know how much I like Miami. It's telling you how much respect I have for Louisville. I wouldn't be surprised if Louisville can find some plays to keep them in this football game. I think Miami wins. I don't know if I'm rushing to the betting table for them to cover 2 touchdowns. This game's going to be awesome on a Friday night. And if you're a Miami fan, what you're excited about is these are the games in the past for Mario Cristobal that sometimes they get tight in the fourth quarter when they shouldn't be. Kind of want to see Miami handle business if they have the opportunity to do so. But you best believe this Louisville team is really dang good. Really, really solid. Very excited. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to you all later.